science is settled in the sense that we have evidence that most of climate change that's taking place today is caused by natural forces and not by human activity. That is the main message I have. First of all, if climate change is primarily caused by natural forces, this means it's unstoppable. This means that carbon dioxide is not a pollutant. It means that there's absolutely no point in trying to control the emission of greenhouse gases. I want to show you the evidence, and I hope that you will agree with me that this is convincing. This evidence has been assembled in a report which is in your tote bag called Nature, Not Human Activity Rules the Climate. It's a report of the non-governmental International Panel on Climate Change, which is consciously modeled after the IPCC. We use the same information, plus information that they have ignored, plus information that came to light and was published in peer-reviewed journals after the IPCC deadline of May 2006. And we reached the opposite conclusion. So, this is the basic issue. The cause of global warming. Is it human-caused or natural? This issue is so basic that once you settle it, everything else is commentary. Glaciers melting, sea ice melting, polar bears, whatever, everything else is commentary. Because this will tell you whether you can do something or not. If it is human-caused, and CO2 is a greenhouse gas and increasing, that's plausible. So that's a possibility that you have to investigate carefully. I would maintain that the IPCC has brought forth no firm evidence to support that the cause of the current warming is human. If it is natural, that's also plausible, because we know the climate has always been warming or cooling. So how can you tell? How can you tell what the cause is? The method we use is the method that is also approved by the IPCC. We all agree on the methodology. We disagree on the results. The methodology is to compare the patterns of warming, the calculated pattern, calculated from climate models, with the pattern that's actually observed, and see if the patterns agree. These patterns are called fingerprints. See if the fingerprints match. That's the issue. I'll give you the answer right now. They don't match. You're looking here at the pattern of warming derived from climate models. Every climate model has roughly the same pattern. This is the fingerprint of greenhouse warming. I'll explain it. In the middle, you see the equator. To the left, you see the North Pole. To the right, South Pole. So this is latitude on the horizontal axis and height on the vertical axis. And what is characteristic of greenhouse warming is that the rate of warming, the warming trend, increases with altitude in the tropical zone and is roughly 2 times greater, or even more than 2 times greater, than it is at the surface. This big red blob that you see, centered at roughly 10 kilometers, 6 miles up, in the tropical zone from 30 north to 30 south, that is the characteristic fingerprint of greenhouse warming. Everyone agrees on that. That's in the IPCC report. We agree. Now let me show you the actual observations. No blob, no increase in warming with altitude. In fact, if you see that little blue area over the equator in the middle, that's a slight decrease in the warming trend. In other words, The fingerprint of the observations from weather balloons taken all over the world gives a result which is exactly opposite to that of the greenhouse models. The fingerprints do not agree. They do not match. This means that we can exclude a significant contribution from greenhouse warming, and therefore we must conclude that the warming is mostly natural. Now, you can present the same data, the same comparison between models and observations in a different way. This is a publication in a journal of the Royal Meteorological Society published last December, just a few months ago, and it shows how the climate trend, the warming trend on the left, in the vertical axis, increases with altitude in the models and decreases in the observations. That's really all you need to know. The disagreement is striking. Now you might ask, what do our opponents say to this? After all, we did battle with referees to get this thing published. Well, the only good answer they've gotten is, well, maybe there's something wrong with the data. Mind you, they don't say there's something wrong with the models. I think it illustrates a fundamental split in the atmospheric science community between those who believe in models and those of us who believe in the atmosphere. That's the basic split. We believe in the atmosphere, in data, empirical evidence. Models, very nice, but they're not reality, and they're not evidence.